My name is Shelly Maxwell. I'm a licensed clinical social worker as well as a registered yoga teacher, and we've been doing these R&R sessions since the COVID days, so easily about 5 years now. And just so you know, we do record these, but it only records me. It doesn't record any other videos or screens or chat. So feel free if you have any issues or want to put your email address to Erin Johnson if you want to receive our regular reminders, please do so. And you can find these recordings on our playlist on our YouTube channel. So if you go into YouTube and search Ascension Wisconsin EAP, you'll get actually every presentation we've done, like that we've recorded. And there's a whole playlist, like I said, of the R&R sessions. So you don't just have to practice this once a month when we gather. You could work it into your schedule to work through the previously recorded ones and see how things change and don't change over time. All right. So it's April 1st, and full disclosure, there are no April Fool's jokes in this one. Um, I wanted to take some time to help us to ground a little bit more today, create some warmth. During this transition season, we tend to get a little bit phlegmy, and so things are moving, right? And so a chance to move a bit, build some gentle heat, but more importantly, to come to a place of reflection as we start to move into a more active time in our lives. And if any of you are familiar with Parker J. Palmer, he's a Quaker, a writer, philosopher, I would say, poet who lives in the Madison area. He's got some beautiful books, and I follow him on social media. And every once in a while, he'll post some of his writings. And I thought I'd share one of them with you all today. This one is called Their Slow Way. And he writes, "Let these woods have their slow way with you. Patient pines that hold their green through all the frozen seasons, lichen covered rocks that live indifferent to time's passage. These will teach you how to bring your life to ground. The fractal chaos of the forest floor, its white anemones, spiked grasses and dead leaves, the fallen trunks and branches splayed out like pickup sticks. These will teach you how to live freely with abandon and feed the roots of new growth when your time has come." And so you might just look over some of these phrases and pick out which words or descriptors stand out to you. You might notice in the picture, um, right, the different elements of spring season, especially here in Wisconsin, and notice what stands out to you in the picture, maybe. And I'll just share when I came across this poem when I was looking through my files. I really was drawn to the phrase indifferent to time's passage, but also feed the roots of new growth. And ironically, when your time has come. And so the word that really came to me as the theme for today was a sense of renewal, right? There's this stirring. We kind of talked about this last month, but speaking more specifically to what gives you a sense of renewal? Like we see it all around us outside, right? You got the tulips, daffodils, their leaves are starting to peek up through the earth. For those of you who start seeds, are starting our seeds. There's different rituals that are prompting, this awareness of a shift, and not just any shift, but a renewal, right? A rebirth. So say, take some time here and think about what are some of your rituals this time of year. It might be spring cleaning, right? Decluttering. It might be clearing out the garden or junk? What is it that where you're making space for new to come in, if that makes sense? And then let's go ahead and bring both feet to the floor. If you haven't kicked your shoes off and are able to, I'd encourage you to do it now. It's really different when you can have your feet directly on the floor. And I'm even going to lower my chair just a teens. I hope I don't drop down, just to get me a little bit closer down, so the soles of my feet can really feel anchored here. And you might let your eyes rest on the image in front of you, the water droplets, the morning dew suspended on the top of the moss. And even think about the structure of moss, right? Where it can grow just about anywhere. And I always think of renewal when I see moss. I don't know why in lichen. It's that greenery, right? That just brightens everything up. And when you walk on it, it's like a carpet. And so let's come into the roots of ourselves. So first bringing awareness to your feet. So we're starting our grounding now, and then bring in our deep breathing and bring awareness to the hips. And there's a sense of rootedness in the hips, right? If you bring awareness to the space in the pelvic girdle between the hip points, and you might even be able to bring your awareness down to the tip of your tailbone. Okay, and in yoga, we call this actually the root. And you can bring your breath there. And then imagine your energy traveling from, your hips, this pelvic girdle down your legs, down to the feet. And think of your legs as these roots of the trees, the perennials, all the plants under the earth, where they have their roots, and think about what's happening with the roots right now, right? Like what wakes them up? Is there a pulsation there like we do, right? Like our heartbeat is that pulsation. We've got so much electricity that helps fire the neurons. What prompts, the plants, the vascular system of the plants to start growing? I was thinking about that while I was planting my seeds even. And sink a little bit more into your roots here. Just let it go. Find an effortlessness through the feet, through the legs, through the hips. And with that comes a deep sense of ease. And now maybe even bring your hands to your abdomen. Maybe bring your hands over the belly, or you could have them stacked. So one on the abdomen and one at the base of the ribs, so that you can have awareness of your breath here as you inhale and the belly softens and pooches out. You're breathing through your nose, and on the exhale, you can either breathe through the mouth, exhaling, or through the nose as you hug that abdomen in. Okay, so here we're bringing the diaphragm up into the rib cage to squeeze the air out of the lungs. And when you're ready to inhale, just release the effort and let the belly soften and balloon. Breathe it in deep. Maybe see if you can make your exhale a little bit longer here. When you're ready, hugging the abdomen in. Notice the shift around the ribs. There you go. And another nice, deep, cleansing breath. Continue this movement of your breath, but bring less effort there and see if you can notice that pulsation I just talked about. We'll most definitely feel it a moment in our heart, but when you get real quiet and notice the subtle energies, you might even be able to sense a vibration of vitality within you. And you could even think about this vitality, this energy being what prompts you to breathe, that initiates the breath. Good. And now move the one hand, keep one on the base of your ribs, and bring the other one to the top of your ribs, around the collarbones, this heart, the upper heart. With your eyes closed, notice the rhythm of your breath, and maybe get a deeper sense of awareness of that vibrancy within you. And maybe think about all the energy that you've scattered around at different places. And with your next inhale, call that energy back to you. Bring it back within into this core. The exhale, you just release anything that hasn't been serving you. Make room for the new. Good. And now bring your hands back to your lap and bring awareness back to your feet. And with your next inhale, imagine this energy moving in a line from you, or in a wave even, from your feet up through the body, through the legs, your roots, the hips, up through the spine, through the crown of the head. And with your exhale, follow that line of energy back down through the crown of the head, all the way down the core, the center of the body, down into the full floor. And let's do that one more time. Really feeling as if the whole body is breathing as a whole. Let the shoulders drop, let the jaws relax. The facial features are soft. Good. And now bring your hands onto your thigh. You might scoot up to the top of your chair. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for a moment so that we can, all can see me a little bit better. And see if you can slide your heels of your hands into the hip crease. Okay. And press down gently, not where you're hurting yourself, but where you get a sense of like a pressure release even. And you might even notice an opening, a deeper opening in this pelvic girdle. Okay. Bring the shoulders up to the ears, press, and then bend the elbows, release the effort with the palms, and let the shoulders come down. Good. Let's do that again. Press deep into that hip crease if that's okay for your body. Bring the shoulders up, lengthen through the sides of the spine even. Feel that come all the way up into the base of the skull. Breathe. And notice how the abdomen is actually freer here to breathe more softly. Good. And then when you're ready, bend the elbows and just drop. Okay. Now rub the thighs. And we're going to gently, with each rub, move a little bit farther down the legs. Okay, so coming down through the fronts of the knees, the shins. And then next time you come down with an exhale, fold all the way forward and rub the tops of the feet, maybe massage the toes here. If your feet are still in their shoes and you can't take them off, you might wiggle them around a little bit. And gently, with this forward fold, root through the feet and gently walk your hands over to the right. So you're going to feel a nice lengthening through the left side of the body. That left hip is going to become a little bit lighter, but try to bring it down. Don't let it lift too high, but you don't have to put a lot of effort planting it. Another breath here. And then gently walk your way back to the center between the feet in this forward fold. And then when you're ready, with the next exhale, walk the hands over to the left side of your feet, the left side of the legs. That right arm might even come to the outside of that left leg. And now we're opening up the right side body. And continue doing those cleansing breaths, exhaling what doesn't serve you anymore, the tension, the stress, anything you've been worrying about. And when you breathe in, Breathe in that sense of renewal, even if you don't know what is coming yet. Good. And then come back to center if you haven't already. Take a moment here. Just notice the shift, how you're feeling now compared to when we first came into that forward fold. And now we're going to come out of the forward fold the way we went in, but this time massaging the backs of the legs and rubbing. So you're going to come to the heels, the Achilles, the calf muscles, even get those fingers into the backs of the knees gently. You're not going to be able to get as far into the back of the thighs, but you can still massage the sides and come around and come to the base of the spine. And you're going to feel like that little nodule of that SI joint where the tailbone, the coccyx, it fits in with the pelvic girdle, and then the spine inserts here too. This is a huge place of connection. And so you might even bring both hands to frame your tailbone there, and get a sense of the vibrancy that is there. Okay, good. Now let's bring our hands up and exhale. Follow this line of energy like we did with our breath. Follow it down to your feet. And then with your inhale, bring it up. Let's do that two more times. Reaching up, maybe wiggling the fingers. Exhale, come down. One more time. Inhale, bring it up. Reach, reach, reach. And then interlace the fingers. Press the palms to the sky and lengthen. So now notice what happens to the tailbone and the abdomen. Tailbone's going to want to stick out. Abdomen's going to want to stick out. You want to suck that abdomen back in. Point the tailbone down and notice the activation in the core. And there's going to be some warmth there. Okay, good. Exhale, flutter the hands down to your sides. And just take a moment here, letting the arms rest and notice the difference. Good. Now bring the arms out, palms open to the sky, and then gently flip with the wrists. So we're just waking up the joints a little bit more. Good. And we're gonna scissor the arms and one alternating which one comes on top. You might bend the elbows. Okay. Just get some movement into the shoulder girdle, and then bring your hands to the tops of your shoulders and do some circles. Again, watch that tailbone and the abdomen. Activate the core, reverse direction. Good. Now come back to center. Bring the elbows together in front. Really squeeze. Breathe. Inhale, open it up. And exhale, try to squeeze the elbows to touch behind you. They won't, but let's get a nice release, a nice cleansing between the shoulder blades. Yeah. Inhale, bring those elbows together in front again. Engage the core. And exhale, bring those elbows back around. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. As if there's a pencil between the shoulder blades. There you go. All right, let's bring them back to center. One hand on the heart, one at the base of the ribs, right where the sternum is, and close your eyes and notice the difference. Now, how has your sense of inner vibrancy shifted since the beginning of our practice together? Note what you're feeling. Okay. You can release your hands once more, and let's march in place. So bending those knees, picking one foot up and then the other. Bring both feet down to the earth and kick your legs out. So one foot kicks out, swinging those from the knees. Okay. This feels good to move sometimes. Now plant both feet, and we're just gonna move the hips in a circle as if your tailbone was drawing a circle on your seat, and then reverse direction. Yeah. Come back to center. Lengthen through the crown of the head, all the way down the spine to the tailbone. And think about the spine here. There's so much dynamic energy, right? The spinal fluid, In this column, the nerves that all run through with the vagus nerve. Think about the front of your spine as well as the back of your spine. Connect with the sense of the right side of your spine as well as the left. And there's these real fine muscles that exist all through there to support us that we don't even have to think about. Yeah. Now let's do some cat-cow movements. So for those of you who are familiar with the inhale, we bring our shoulders back, we spread through the collarbones, our tailbone gets to tilt back. So you're bringing this nice flexion through the spine. And then on your exhale, hug the abdomen in, press your back towards the back of your chair, round the shoulders in towards each other, and tuck the chin in towards your sternum. And now move with your breath. Your inhale brings you back into cow. On the floor, it makes more sense when we call it cat cow. It's a little different in chair yoga. Good. And when you feel like you've come to the longest extension of your breath, exhale and try to come into the longest extension of your exhale, both with the breath and the body. And we'll do it one more time. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Yeah. And then come back to center. We're going to do some gentle neck movements. So find that long line, lengthen through the spine with this new awareness of the front, the back, the sides of the spine. And now gently let the chin come down towards the sternum and notice the lengthening here through the back of the neck. Breathe into that opening. Exhale out any tension in that area. You might even notice going deep into the base of the skull. Now slowly roll that right ear towards the right shoulder and just let the weight of the head release the tension through this left side of the neck. And breathe into that space on the left side of the neck. Exhale out any tension. Bring a sense of softness. Another inhale when you're ready. And exhale. And then roll the chin back to center, chin towards the sternum. Notice the difference. And then gently roll that left ear to the left shoulder. Same thing on this side. Just let the weight of the head be enough here. Notice if you're sticking your chin out, you might want to tuck it in. Close your eyes and just let that right side of the neck soften. What do you hold in your neck? How can you bring a sense of renewal to these spaces? Good. Now roll gently the chin back to center, lift the chin, and we're gonna do some facial, just some tension. So let's move our mouth, circle the jaw, reverse direction, and maybe side to side. And then you can do some like squeezes, bring in, pucker in the lips, squeeze in the eyes, bring in everything to the tip of the nose. And then you can open it up, open the mouth as wide as you can. And then a couple of times, both directions. And then let's bring both hands to the throat and just gently, gently, gently caress the throat. In Eastern tradition, they say it's the voice that um, gives it's our throat that gives voice to our soul. You know, it's this idea that the soul comes from here through the heart, and then uh, so such a beautiful space. And sometimes this can feel really tight when we're not able to use our voice in certain situations, when boundaries are being violated. And maybe take your hands and just start to massage along the collarbones here. Okay. Yeah. Whatever neck movements, massage that feels good to you, maybe the back there. Ooh. And then let's bring one hand on the opposite shoulder. So right hand to left shoulder, left hand to right. And just give yourself a squeeze. Maybe even ball yourself up. Exhale and just squeeze up into a little seed here. Good. Now open up, and we're going to come into our seated mini shavasana. So this is where you get to be totally schlumpy and lazy. Sprawl with the legs, let the hands, the arms dangle. You may, if you've got a good headrest, let the head rest behind you, or you could bring it forward, whichever feels best for your body in this moment. And we're going to revisit Parker Palmer's reflection again that I shared at the beginning. Let me bring it up. There we go. So, their slow way. Let these woods have their slow way with you. Patient pines that hold their green through all the frozen seasons. Lichen-covered rocks that live indifferent to time's passage. These will teach you how to bring your life to ground. The fractal chaos of the forest floor, its white anemones, spiked grasses, and dead leaves, the fallen trunks and branches splayed out like pickup sticks. These will teach you how to live freely with abandon and feed the roots of new growth when your time has come. So I hope today you can be reaffirmed that there is a beautiful brilliancy and vibrancy within you. In its own timing, it'll bring the growth that you desire. And let Spring's Awakening remind you that we all have different seasons, and how can you show up for yourself in this season of renewal? So I'm so delighted that you all joined us today. Again, before we wrap up, make sure if you want our email reminders for the R&R sessions to drop Erin a chat with your email address that you'd like us to use. And just making a note that our next R&R will be the first Wednesday of May, as always, May 6th from noon to 12:30. And if you want to reach us at any time, whether you want to use your EAP benefit for counseling support, consultation, you want to know when our next presentations are, we do lunch and learns every other month at noon. Give us a ring. You could either call us or email us. Oh, and check out our website. We just added the coolest feature called Counselor's Corner. And a bunch of myself and a bunch of my colleagues, we've recorded videos on coping strategies that you guys might really enjoy. And so it's Ascension, Wisconsin EAP when you Google it, and it'll come up. So be sure to check that out, as well as our YouTube channel. So I really look forward to seeing you all. I can't believe next month is May, and um, and it'll be interesting to see what renewal occurs for you all. Okay, so hopefully that helps you to become more aware. So we will see you next month, if not before. Take care, everybody.